Live. All right, welcome everyone to our show I am Siobhan Olivero and my co-host Gina Ricci, and this is Rise Above, where we turn pain into power and peace and possibilities. So today we thought we would do an introduction show, tell you a little bit about who we are, what we're doing in the world, what things that we have overcome, the rising above that we have done in this world, and take you through a couple of exercises that we both use in coaching and that we find to be useful to help people start to attain those things and reaching and rising above. So with that, I'm going to start to introduce my amazing co-host, Gina Ricci. So Gina, why don't you introduce yourself and tell them what amazingness you are doing in this world and who you are and what you have done.
Siobhan, thank you so much. First of all, I'm so grateful that this was your idea, that we start doing this together, because it's so powerful to be able to, I believe it's so powerful for walking people through what we've already been through. When we know something works, why not share it with the world? And why not, when we share our stories, we know that it unlocks the key to other people's, I just went blank on the unlocks the key to other people's prison, is that old quote that I love. And so my name is Gina Ricci. I am a love and empowerment coach. I'm also a co-host of a really fun show for singles called The Real Raw Role Play in Love and Dating. I'm currently learning how to be a cryptopreneur. That's a new and fun venture for me. And honestly, all of this began for me as a result of losing a child 21 years ago, my 3.5-year-old little girl. And as I crawled and clambered through figuring out how to live through that, I found found my spiritual journey. I went towards spirituality. That was my choice. I didn't go to medicine or drinking or drugging. It was my choice to go to spirituality and personal growth and personal development, which is now, what I now really love to inspire, truly, truly inspire anybody I work with or connect with to open their hearts to love, and the love especially within themselves. Because when we love ourselves, then we can ultimately go out into the world. When we love ourselves, we're being authentic, and we're being vulnerable, and we're sharing who we are and our truth, and not being offended by the world and living in victim, which we're going to talk a lot about that stuff. We can go out and allow that to ripple out into the world and hopefully make a difference in humankind, right? Make a difference for the greater good of humanity. So, I really just learned a lot of lessons along the way, which is what this is about. We have learned, and together we both had this thing. My words I've been using the past couple of years was rose above the pain to find more peace, power, passion, and purpose. And then you and I had a conversation, and you had the P's also with possibilities. And we were like, okay, we've got to share some of this because it makes such a big difference. So thank you so much, Siobhan. I am so honored to know you. And why don't you tell us more about who you are?
I will, but first, Gina, let me just acknowledge you, because you went through it so fast that I don't want it to necessarily be lost on people to know what you have overcome and what you've gone through. I am a mom, and my son's almost 20, and I cannot imagine the pain of losing a child and what you've gone through and what you have risen above and overcome through that. And of course, I know more of your story and what you endured through that time, and even after that loss, and things that you've accomplished through that, which I'm sure we might get to in later episodes on the show, and things that you've overcome with that. So you are truly an amazing person with an amazing light and the love and everything that you bring into this world is just inspires me. And you are, I'm gonna cry, but you are just
my goodness. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Thank you. That is a truly a gift. Those words, just thank you so much. I appreciate you, Siobhan, and we've both been through a lot. And so and we'll talk more about the other pieces of, certainly what I went through after divorcing after 24 years, and all of this is, how eventually we came together to wanting to do this. So thank you for those incredible, beautiful acknowledgments and validations. And won't you please share more about you and what you're doing in the world and who you are?
All right, thank you. Yeah. So, hi everybody. I am Siobhan Olivero, and I am a lot of things in this world that seem to be. I was talking to somebody the other day, telling them all the things that I did, and he was like, "Oh, so you're a slacker?" I'm like, "Yeah, it seems to be that way, right?" So I am an attorney. I am licensed in Florida. I do high-level criminal defense, but the other side of that I do is I also do family law. So I do divorces and child custody and modifications and all of those types of cases as well. Through doing that, I've been an attorney going into over 10 years now. I've had my own firm over 6 years. And through the course of that and being an attorney and doing divorce, being a professional inside the divorce work, I saw a hole for clients that were going through divorce and needing some emotional support. So I became a certified divorce coach. So I brought that into my firm and am now coaching people on whether or not divorce is even the right decision to make in their life. And if they have made that decision, then coaching through the aspects that come with divorce and dealing with the emotional side and being the emotional support and the thinking board for someone that's going through a divorce. Because having someone on your side in the right frame for that is the best way to go, because our friends and our family are wonderful and they always have the best intentions and the best heart for us, but are not always the best support to go to when we're going through these trying times, right? Your best friend telling you, yes, take him for everything that he is not necessarily always the best support to go to. So I brought that in to be able to help people through that. And I saw that because I am also a divorced single mom myself. Since, I currently now have another husband. We're not legally married, but we've been together 16 years. So, he's my husband nonetheless. So, but, I divorced when my son was 4. And I went to law school when my son was 6. I went to law school as a single mom. Wow. So, I decided that I wanted to do this to also help people through those times, to teach people and really help people see that, even though it may seem tough and that there's no light at the end of the tunnel, there is. And if we just reframe and look at it as a beautiful beginning of the amazingness that we can become in this world, that it can lead to so many great things for us and even better things than maybe some of the dreams that we thought we had that are going away with the divorce. In addition to that, I'm working on getting certified in Jack Canfield's Success Principles and becoming a life and success coach and a master and an insight coach as well through another program, so that I can help people even more in life and success coaching with that. So.
Wow. Seriously amazing. You're doing so many incredible things in the world. And as a single mom, to start going to law school when you have a 4-year-old son, that is absolutely amazing to me. Truly, that is a lot to say, I'm going for it and I'm going to change my life and others' lives. And that's what you've been doing. And it's really, I just thank you for sharing that, because it's so powerful. And I can't imagine what that was like for you. I know that, when my oldest was 4, I couldn't imagine even going to school, at that point in my life, because I was a stay-at-home mom. And it's just really powerful that you did that, and what all the things that you're doing to make an impact on the world it's quite amazing. So I am so excited to know you more as we go on this journey together, and for what you're giving to people, because I know for sure, going through my own high conflict divorce 4 years ago, it was difficult. And I was and you call your lawyer and you get charged every 5, you're getting charged every call. So, and there were calls where I was I'm crying. And all I did was try to fix my marriage for 10 years. And it was just for 10 years it was 10 years too long. But that's how it goes, right? Everything happens as it's supposed to. So I know that. But I needed somebody like you. I know that I needed somebody like you and a divorce coach. And at the same time, you're also a divorce attorney. That is so needed for people in this, going through this. Is it just women? You work with both, right?
I work with both. Yes.
Yeah. Really powerful. And so I totally commend you for all that you've done in the world and that you're doing, moving forward and helping people reframe. I mean, that is certainly something that we're going to talk a lot about on here, and how we can, recondition our lives to be the lives that recondition our bodies, our minds to change things for a better future and for a better tomorrow. And it's really powerful when we have opportunity to do that. So I just think it's quite amazing what you're doing and all the difference that you're making for people. So thank you for sharing that and for all that you're doing.
Thank you. So that is a little bit about us and our backgrounds and who we are and what we are here for and bringing this to. And so Gina and I, as you've heard, have collaborated because as we started talking, realized that we are kind of helping people do the same things and we talked about the 3 Ps that we were helping people through and helping people find their personal power and their personal peace. And I include their personal pride, being proud of who you are, going through these trying times. When you look back, who do you want to be? Who do you want to remember? Who do you want your kids to remember you were when you're going through that time? And do you want to look back and be proud of who you were through that time, or look back, as so many people do, and go, oh, I probably didn't react so well during that time, and helping people through that. And then you added in another P to that we talked about, and helping people find what their personal, where are we at?
Purpose and passion. Yes, peace, passion, personal power, and purpose. Yeah.
So we combined to make like 7 Ps that we help people find and break through, and we turned it into possibilities. So we added another one. So.
It's so true. And like you said, I'm stepping back to what you just said about pride. That has been a really, really big piece actually for me over these past years as I've come out of that place, because there were a lot of dark years in my marriage. And like, I couldn't, it was like, and people were saying, I would have people saying to me like, what do you want to look back? And do you want to look back and have and realize that you stayed in something that was toxic, and that's what your kids are going to remember. And I remember somebody saying to me like, do you want your son to grow up treating women that way, what he experienced, right? And I remember like, that was one of the turning points for me. I was like, holy moly, no. So is it better that I fight through this time to stay in a marriage, or is it better that I look back and say, okay, I took a step that made the difference, that, allows my kids to see something different. And it gives my now ex and former husband a chance to find his way, gives me to find my way. And then I can be, am I ever going to feel pride for that? Because it was so scary. It's so scary when we're in that place. Yeah. Where you really don't want to take that step, but that if you don't, it's going to get worse. And you have people that are experts in the field saying it probably is going to get worse, unless you're both, collectively working towards like in personal development for the better partnership. Anyway, so I'm just thinking about that word pride and how different that feels for me now to have been able to take that step. So thank you for that reminder of personal pride, because we can be so proud. And once we are proud of who we are, everything really, really does line up. It starts to align when we're proud of who we are, the decisions we've made, and believe in ourselves. Believe, although it doesn't start with a P, has been a big, big thing, like belief and love for myself. So belief in self. And it's just really powerful. So thank you.
Well, thank you. And so what Gina and I decided to come together and do was, one, again, today, tell you about who we are, and then start to bring some of these things that we have learned and we have discovered, and things that we help people through, to bring them to you and bring value to you as well, and help give you some of the tips and techniques that we know to help get you through, help rise above, and start to help you see the possibilities on the other side. And so, Gina, you have something that you take people through initially when you meet with them. Yes. Would you like to explain to our viewers what that looks like? And just so you know, when I'm looking to the side, I am monitoring the Facebook Live feed to see what we've got going on. And we've had quite a few people join us. So we just want to say hello. And thank you to everyone that is watching and joining us today. So Gina, why don't you explain to them is it an exercise or a technique
Well,
or?
yeah, so this is one of the ways. Thank you, Siobhan. I'm sorry. Thank you. Well, this is one of I will, 100% say that Tony Robbins' work helped me to change my life and his events. And so this is one of the tools that he uses, and I use it a lot with people because it really mattered to help me change and recondition and reframe things for myself. And thank you, Tony Lani. I see the messages, and I just have to say hi to everyone watching. I appreciate it. One of the things that I really like to do is take people through something called the triad that Tony created and talks about, where you change your focus. There's 3 things. If you change your focus, you change your language and the meaning around something, an event or circumstance, and your physiology, then you can literally change your life. And I use that in a way, it's almost a meditation that I take people through when I'm working with them, one-on-one or in a group. But it's really, so if you think about it, right, the language we use matters. Language matters.
Yes, so important. Yes.
So important. So if you're saying things that are of a victim, like, why is this happening to me? Or why, just, I need this and I can't have, and this, I can't do this, I can't do that. Those words are disempowering. So what I really, try to show people is how when you shift your language to more empowering words, it literally you start to condition it in your body, and it just becomes easier and easier to say things that are more empowering. Like, I really consciously try to not use words that are negative or disempowering, such as need and want, try, certainly, and things that are like, negative words like I don't and I can't. If you shift those to more empowering words, like committed words, like it's a yes or no, black and white, or more loving words, and we'll go through more of this we'll talk more about that as we go forward. That's just one part of the triangle. So the triad is to change your focus, language, and language is also like the meaning, changing the meaning behind something, and your physiology. So think about, let's talk about physiology for a second. What is it like when what do you think if you see someone that's like sitting like this, kind of looking down and slouched, kind of, what do you experience them as?
Well, they're sad, or they're depressed, or they are not confident.
Yeah. Right. So then what do you experiencing, or what do you think someone feels about themselves is more importantly? It's like, not like, I don't want it to sound like it's judgment. It's more of like, what do you think that person that is like this feels about themselves? That yes, they're depressed. They're probably depressed. They're possibly, unhappy. Probably not a lot of confidence, like you said. And then you see somebody who's like happy and elated and standing tall. What do you think they're feeling about themselves? The very opposite, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Right. So you can literally change your physiology, and it shifts from like pain to peace, pain to passion to joy. Like putting a smile on your face can literally help somebody else brighten their day, and it will give you the physiology to feel better. So when you change your physiology, you can literally change your state. You can change your state in an instant. If you're feeling sad or depressed, you can stand tall and go, I'm not gonna let this get me down. No, like, stand tall, or stand like Wonder Woman for like a minute or 30 seconds, and like, I've got this. Like, I've got this.
Favorite pose, by the way.
Yeah, seriously, it's like, stand like Wonder Woman. Like, sometimes I'm just like, I remember like my divorce coach. Oh, you can't see, but I didn't have, not a divorce coach, but I knew people that I was friends with from the Tony Robbins world, as I was going through some post-divorce things, that he said, stand in the mirror like Wonder Woman for like 2 minutes, and like, look at yourself like, I've got this. And, one thing I always use a word, and we'll talk about this on a later, about being unoffendable. So I would affirm, like, I'm unoffendable. I am unoffendable. And I would stand in the mirror and like change my physiology. I'd feel stronger about myself and I'd feel more confident. It made a freaking huge difference, right? Makes the big difference, your physiology and your focus. Focus is, what are you thinking about? Are you dwelling on the negativity of the drama? Are you focused on the negative things that are happening in your world? What happens if you change that focus to faith, right? To what is good, and what is, like, find a silver lining. Like, it took me a little bit of time, and I remember thinking, okay, I would have people that went through it and said, when you come out on the other side, and it's going to take a little time, you will have peace. And my greatest, like, desire was inner peace, because I felt so much like turmoil and pain and toxicity for a while, and confusion, and I just wanted to feel peace. And so I remember thinking, okay, I want what they're having, right? I want that peace. So how do I do it? Okay, so I was learning along the way from like major thought leaders like Tony and Jack Canfield. And there's a great exercise we'll do on next week's episode that Jack teaches, and I know you know it. We'll talk about that, but about faith and fear. But when you really start to focus on faith and joy and happiness and all the positive aspects, it will elevate your life to move towards it. So what you focus on, you get. If you close your eyes and focus on the color red and think to yourself, I'm going to find everything that's red, you are going to see red everywhere, right? So if you're focusing on negativity, you're going to see negativity everywhere. If you're focusing on positivity, joy, prosperity, abundance, you will start to just bring it into your life more and more. So anyway, I could go on and on about that. There's more to it, but it's I
can too, because it's amazing stuff. And it's great. And just to follow up with one thing that you said, and it kind of goes to both the physiology and the focus and the things that, Tony teaches around that there's actually a science behind that too, that was done by Amy Cuddy, who was with Harvard, and there's a TEDx out there by Amy Cuddy that you can go out and watch, where she actually did a study where they tracked the chemical and the brain waves and everything in people doing those posture poses, the Superman poses, the Wonder Woman poses, and looking at what it actually does to your physiology when you're down in those not so strong poses versus up in the strong poses, whether you're sitting or standing or however it is. And it only takes about 90 seconds, and your entire physiology is actually changed chemically, physically, brain waves, everything works together, and it is actually scientifically changing your state. So
yes.
It's an amazing thing. Yes.
Thank you. That is exactly what I'm talking about. It really, really matters, and it's scientifically proven. And I appreciate you saying that, Siobhan, because people sometimes think like I'm woo-woo or whatever, but what there's scientific proof, like what, and I'm proof. I am also proof. So it's like you're proof. I'm proof.
Absolutely.
Elevated their lives are proof. And so it's like, focus on the people who have, find those people and go towards them that have made that change in their life and that impact. And I love that science. So thank you so much for sharing that. And so you have different exercises, and one day maybe we could even do like the short meditation that I take people through around that. But let's have you share what you have a practice that you like to share with people that I know makes a big difference. So let's hear what that is, if you don't mind.
Of course. Thank you. So one of the first things that I like to take people through is what I call the best self exercise. And what I start with people, because generally, of course, when people are coming to us in the state of minds like we're talking about, they don't know who they are at their best self, right? They don't see those good attributes in themselves. And as you talked about, changing your focus a little bit, changing those types of things will help us find that. So one of the exercises I have people do, and I have them sit down, right? And we write these things out, because we're going to focus back on all of these things throughout our sessions and through coaching. And you're going to look back on it and see all of these things to remind yourself who that is. So what I tell people to do is find 3 people in this world that you look up to. someone that you admire, and they could be real, they could be fiction, they could be alive, they could be dead. It doesn't matter who they are, but 3 people in this world that you look up to and that you admire. And what are those attributes that you admire in them? So what are those good things that you see in them? And if they are being at their best, what attributes are you seeing in that? And the key in that is because if you spot it, you've got it.
Yes.
What you see in someone else is inside of you. Yep. So if you're seeing it in somebody else, that means you've got it. And then write those down. Write down those attributes that you like and that you see in someone else. And then the second part of that is now we're going to focus on you. If you're sitting down with your friends and you're having a conversation with your friends, what attributes, when you're in your best self, are they seeing in you? Or what attributes do you want them to see in you if you are your best self, who you define that best self of you to be? Are you a giver? Are you living in gratitude? Do you love everyone unconditionally? Are you confident? Are you strong? Are you, poised? And, what are all of the, name any attributes, that are out there? And what does that look like for you? And as we then start to develop that sheet, as we start to look at our best self, we take that through into every situation that we're going into. So tomorrow, that situation's going to come up that's going to frustrate you, and you're going to deal with it one way or another. And then you can come to me and I can go, so who were you dealing in that situation? What attributes did you bring to the situation? Were you your best self? And if you weren't, it's okay. Let's forgive ourselves. But what could we do next time? How can we live into those attributes and be our best self and not react, but respond a little bit differently to that situation, where we start to live those attributes that we see and that we want to be.
Wow. That is so beautiful and beautifully shared, and people out there can actually go and do that that exercise and keep it for yourself. Like you said, reflect back on it, because of what a difference it really will make. And that's, in some ways, it's similar to like the triad I was speaking, because I do have people like write out what can they focus on that's positive. They get rid of the negative, like what's the negative one and what's the positive one, and look back at that. And really, like you said, people can look back at their best self that they want to be or that they see in others. And it's right. It's so true, Siobhan. So we really do see in others what we have within ourselves, and that goes for also negatives as well. So we want to really help people reflect the positive, because, again, when you focus on the negative, you get more. So I think that's such a powerful practice for people to do. Find those people that are where you want to be and are models of what you want in the world, right? So powerful.
Absolutely.
Thank you. That's
all right.
Yeah. So we've probably, I think it's a good time to sort of wrap this call up, right? So we don't want to keep it going for too long. We're going to try to keep it about a half an hour each week. We have so many powerful practices that we're going to be sharing over this time, and we really invite you all to ask us questions. So if you have something you want us to talk about, like on next week's show, or that you want us to answer, you can also reach out to either one of us. Correct, Siobhan?
Absolutely. Yes.
Right. So just message me. And if we're not friends, just send a message, and we're here to help, or put it in the comments. We are here to inspire and empower you to create the life of your dreams and let it go of any of the pain, and live that life of peace, possibility, purpose. What are our other P's?
Yes, peace, possibility, purpose, pride, and passion.
Yes, all of the P's, all of it. So thank you. Do you want to share anything else before we wrap this up, Siobhan?
I think that you wrapped it up beautifully, Gina, and I will say your sentiment is great. They can reach out to either one of us if you have a question, something that you'd like us to address, something you'd like us to answer. We are happy to do that. You can find me on Facebook, Siobhan Sapples Olivero. I am there. You can send me a message, or you can also email me at info@Olivero. That's OLIV as in Victor, ERO. law.com, and we will take your questions and answer them on future shows.
Definitely.
Any other way they can contact you?
I would say Facebook Messenger is one. I'm on there a lot more than email these days. I do a lot of work in Messenger. So if you're on Facebook and you're watching here, send me a message. If you're wanting to email me, it's Gina Ritchie coaching at gmail.com. And of course, you have both of us are here to mentor and coach people. So if that's something that you're interested in, certainly let us know. We look forward to doing this again. I look forward to doing this again next week with you, Siobhan. And thank you again for creating this. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Have an absolutely spectacular Wednesday. And oh, by the way, I'm just going to say one thing. If you are single and you would like to be on I have a singles show that I do on Wednesdays and Fridays, and it's fun and it's practice for singles to go out and date in the world. Please also message me. I just had to share that because people,
of course, yes,
if you don't mind, like it's free, it's fun, and it really makes an impact for you to open yourself up to love. So anything, I think that's it for me anyway.
Yes, that's it. No, definitely. Gina's show is so much fun. So if you're single or dating, get on her show because it's a ton of fun and you'll learn a lot about communication and what you should be doing out there in the dating world. So
absolutely. So, okay, great. And oh my gosh, and I also have one for couples. So we'll talk about that another time. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.